Hey, what's up, everybody? If that intro didn't tell you, this is the Six Man Tag Podcast. Great song in there. If it's good enough for WrestleMania 1, it's good enough for episode 70 of the Six Man Tag Podcast.
Officially, finally on 70.
Oh, yeah, no, no more. No more episode 69. We had part 1, part 2, part 3. It was good stuff.
Should have had
Um,
69 parts.
oh god damn. I suggested this, but we had to cut it off eventually.
Yes.
Um, Before we get into this, just a quick thank you to first of all, I guess for our whole episode 69. Shout out to Dennis for coming on part 1 and just shooting the shit with us. Shout out to Andy for coming on to part 2, talking to us, and then shout out to the House of Payne, Hakeem Ali, Nick Payne. Those guys are awesome. We're gonna have them back soon. And also, we are sponsoring the big event, Coliseum Pro Wrestling, Friday, April 26th. Opportunity for Success 3. It is at the Elks Lodge, West Haven, Connecticut. It's going to be a good time. I believe you might have a little bit of involvement from this podcast at that show. But listen, we're a proud sponsor of that, so check them out. You can follow them on Instagram, Coliseum Pro Wrestling. If I had the at, see, I'm terrible at plugging
And
things.
Facebook.
Oh yeah, see, yeah, Skylar's on top of the Facebook, man.
All the links will be in the description.
Yeah. Hell yeah. The socials. Yeah, you can follow Coliseum Pro Wrestling on Instagram. It is at Coliseum Pro Wrestling. Look at that.
Nice and easy for you.
Mm-hmm.
Sure that.
Is that like the same guys who had Coliseum home video, right?
It's gotta
Yes,
be.
the exact
It's gotta
same
be.
It's
guys.
gotta be, right?
All the same dudes. All right. Well, let's get in. Today we're talking Vengeance 2001. We all went and rewatched it. But before we get into it, intros. I'm Mike. And joining me as always, it's CJ.
What's up, everybody? Glad to be here with you again. Finally moving on from the 69 fucking hangover that we've had going on for so long. But I'm glad to be back. And we have a very special guest once again. Very glad to have him on the show. Before we get to him, though, I got to pass it down to the only other man that could have defeated Kurt Angle or Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. Didn't defeat Kurt Angle in the same night.
You fucked up.
You fucked up. Can we start over?
Up.
Hold on. Just stop
no,
it.
We're live, pal.
The whole thing. Fuck. Sid Vicious right here. But anyway, the only other man that could have beaten Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock in the same damn night, his name is Skyler.
See, I would give an intro right now, but that might get blurred out, and then therefore Dennis doesn't have to pay me.
Just like 2K.
Just like 2K.
You're getting paid?
You guys are getting paid?
Anyway, moving along.
And joining us, special guest, our old pal, Rob Cedeno. Buddy, what's up?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me today.
Hell yeah.
I'm excited to be on.
It was like,
we're excited to have you.
I know, because it was like all these, people that, like now that we're trying to like have more people on more often again, I was like, well, fuck, man, who knows wrestling better out of all these people we know than Rob Cedeno? And he's here.
Oh, that's a high bar right there.
We did postpone this for a week.
That's sick. My bad. That's
it's all
my
good.
bad.
Listen,
I think we were all having a bad day that day anyway.
It's probable.
Like Skyler couldn't make it. I could have made it, but like I was tired. So like when Mike told me that you canceled, I was actually kind of like
some weeks it happens, man.
I couldn't keep my eyes open. My headache was so bad.
I don't blame you.
Fuck.
Yeah. It's funny because you messaged me like I could push through if you need it, and I was like, your call, man. What do you want to do? I'm not gonna be a fucking asshole and be like, oh, you have a headache, can't keep your eyes open. Get on
committed to this.
It could be worse. You could have a tummy ache like CJ.
Yeah. Sometimes I get a tummy ache and I miss big interviews.
You redeem yourself.
We did redeem it like for the last episode.
Yeah.
So
yes.
At least I got
69 part 3.
69 part 3, baby.
Nice.
The three-way dance.
What do you call a 3-person 69? How does that work? Like everybody's in
a
triangle, or
I guess a 3-6-9.
Oh,
damn thing's fine.
There it is.
So
what year is it?
So
a VCR, kids, is when I don't know, same shit again.
Exactly.
Oh,
So, Mike, and to an extent, Rob, what have you dragged us into for this week?
Well, this episode, I left it completely up to Rob what we were going to talk about on this episode, and he chose Vengeance 2001, a very important event in history. I guess a little background, just so December 2001. I'm gonna, I guess what I'm as you know, as you go back and watch some of this stuff as we've been doing while we've been doing this podcast, that from I guess I'll say from the WCW purchase until the first draft, it feels like a very weird, it's like a very strange time. You're winding down the Attitude Era. You're not really at Ruthless Aggression because nobody knows that really exists yet, or that mindset's kind of not there yet. But you're still trying to do Attitude Era stuff. But it seems like a lot of those guys' time is winding down, especially at this point at the end of 2001. But it doesn't really feel like we have the big transition, the whole pass the torch stuff yet. I mean, you can look in the future and say that, Triple H is pretty much already a star, but even at this point, he's still out with that torn quad. So I think 2001, as heavy, as stacked as the main event spots were, you were still missing Triple H. And it's funny, Triple H is on the main poster for the show. And of course, he's not, he's obviously not here. But you
Yeah,
still
that's
have
weird actually.
Yeah.
I just saw that the poster when because I just pulled up the little Wikipedia page just so I
Yeah.
can have the card in front of me, and I was
Right.
just like, why is Triple H even on the
I know,
poster?
right? You I mean, they had time. They had time to change it. Maybe 2001. It wasn't that simple, but
I remember at the time it was like everyone was like, he's coming back tonight, right?
Right.
He's coming back. He's coming back.
Right. Well, I mean, he was back shortly after because obviously we know he goes on to win the 2002 Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of a weird time because I think you have your main event spots, but it's like anything else in the Attitude Era. You have your stacked main events, and then there's the rest of the card where there's some good stuff, but where we also we're comparing it to what we see maybe today or just like that Ruthless Aggression era where the wrestling got so much better overall. But yeah, we're in this like weird spot where I think and then especially when you get to December, you're fine. I think they're really trying to push past the invasion, which I mean, we don't need to revisit the invasion. It is what it is. It's been talked about to death. Not good just because, the lacking stars. At this point, the WCW title is no more. It's just the world champion, which I forgot all about.
Yep.
They blew everything off at Survivor Series, and then now we're just moving forward as one show. I mean, listen, we were all watching in 2001. If anyone else has any opinions to add to this as far as what was happening in this company at the time with no more competition, I mean, do we look back at this with rose tinted colored glasses or something like that?
Yes. That is an astounding yes.
Yeah,
I think
I agree.
I think back in the day I was pretty hyped about it just because of the whole main event situation, the one title, one great champion kind of thing.
Which
so
boy did that
yeah.
It did not age well for sure. That aged like milk in August.
Multiple times.
Like anything else.
Yeah. But
hell, right now.
I remember being very excited about that, but like now, like going back recently, rewatching it and watching the rest of this card, I definitely thought to myself, like, I can't think of anything else about this card that I would have been excited about except for the three, I guess, main event matches.
Yeah. I guess I'll throw it to Rob. I guess why, not why as a bad thing, but why Vengeance 2001? What made you come up with this specifically when I said pick anything?
Honestly, I just like CJ just said, I think the hype from back in the day. And for some reason, when I was thinking back, I was like, what pay-per-view made me pop like back then? And I didn't have pay-per-view, like I didn't pay for it. I used to like my aunt and uncles used to have like that black box.
Hell yeah.
They would record it for me and then bring it over the next morning.
Oh, nice.
So like I'd get home from, school on Monday and just watch it. I would like, spoiler free or whatever. And I just remember being like, wait, fucking Chris Jericho won both titles. Like it made
spoiler alert.
Oops. Yeah. So it just like, it made me like,
oops.
think about, that time. I think that's why I picked it. But now, again, watching it back, you're like, okay, all right.
We'll get into this. Don't you worry. So Vengeance 2001 took place at the San Diego Sports Arena in San Diego, California. I've been there. This building was probably old in 2001 for what that's worth. Um, 11,800 people in attendance. Buy rate, at least according to, my limited research of finding stuff, 307,000 buys, which I feel like I know buy rates aren't necessarily a big thing nowadays just because there's so many different ways to watch. Obviously with Peacock, you're not really looking at that stuff. But at this time, 300,000, 307,000 for a non-major show is a pretty big deal. So even if we want to look back and say maybe the show wasn't that good, blah, 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 for just a December pay-per-view, it's not WrestleMania, it's not the Royal Rumble, not SummerSlam. 307,000 buys is pretty impressive when even if pay-per-view was maybe $30 at the time, I'm not sure if it was 40, couldn't tell you. But
that's more than AEW.
Yeah, well, like you look at some of the, like their pay-per-views now, and I feel like if you see like 50,000, I'm sure like companies love that at this point, you know. So 300, so like that's just how well they were doing at this point. You could literally just say World Wrestling Federation at the time and just chuck it onto a TV screen and it's going to get a number. So a lot of buys for this. And listen, clearly the intrigue was there at the time. Who's going to be the undisputed champion? And we'll find out. The theme song, I love when we go back and hear these old theme songs, especially when they're not edited out of Peacock. Sinner by Drowning Pool. I haven't heard this song in so long, but it definitely fits 2001 because why not? That was like Drowning Pool. Drowning Pool like those bands like owned that early 2000s.
It was like every song was Drowning Pool at that point.
Yeah.
Well, what was that album?
Oh God.
Like everyone had a theme from it.
Yeah.
Everybody used Drowning Pool as their backyard wrestling theme song,
Yeah.
That POD.
Unforceable entry, by the way.
Forcible entry. There we go.
Oh, you mean I thought you meant Drowning Pool's album. You mean the actual like wrestling rock? I gotcha.
I did have that Drowning Pool album though. It was
look at the other the songs on RVD's song. It fits that time. It still holds up. But like all those themes that were on there. There's an unnamed one that's on there. That's also good.
Yes. There's that Boy Hits Car song that Lita used.
Oh yeah, I have Lita thoughts.
Whatever, Mike. Whatever.
So listen, we got a big undisputed, tournament, undisputed title tournament happening later in the night. We got all these other matches on the card. So naturally, what's going to kick off the pay-per-view? It's a Vince McMahon promo. So I will say that
how timely.
I will. Yeah, seriously. I will say
that's another reason why I picked it, because I knew he was on this card.
Of course. I will say that at this point, because I know like the pre-shows now, they don't really have matches on the pre-show so much anymore. They just have like the panels talking and stuff. But now when you go back and watch some of these little pay-per-views and you don't have that Sunday night heat to go with it, it does feel like there's a couple things you miss. And I know they show highlights, but this specific thing, there was really no context to. I mean, I guess they got to it, but I guess this whole thing was Vince McMahon just coming out because he got his face shoved into Rikishi's ass.
His ass shoved into Rikishi's ass.
Honestly, I forgot about all that, like Vince McMahon kiss my ass club or whatever. And then once the second they showed it just went and just filled my brain back up.
Yeah, it's back like a memory.
Well, because I mean, him getting forced into Rikishi's ass was his comeuppance for all the, all the prior kiss my ass stuff, whether it was JR and was it Regal?
Yes. Regal was the first.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Just saying, knowing what we now know about Vince McMahon.
Man,
there's probably a fetish of this.
I was gonna say, like, can we maybe talk about the possibility? Like, do you think that maybe he was just kind of living out a fantasy on live TV, doing all that shit?
I agree. I
can see it. Well, you can go back to almost every segment like that and be like, all right, he's clearly just booking this because he's into this.
Yes.
Every Divas thing, anything with a woman.
It reminds me of the time where they had him doing like the lie detector test, that he was just like, I am not a pervert, and it was just a buzz. Like buzzed him, and it was just like okay, you're lying.
The machine might as well have blown up.
Yeah, it was probably on. It was probably smoking at that moment.
Yeah, started smoking. Yeah. But so we get all that, and really, then I mean, it is building up because we're clearly we have the Vince McMahon Ric Flair feud building at this point. Was it Royal Rumble they had their match, right? So
Yes,
so
and that was a good match too.
right, because I watched the 02 Rumble not that long ago before this, so
Was that
some
Rick's
stuff was
first?
lining up.
Was that Rick's first match since he came back to the company? Because I know
Yes.
he was
I
kind of like
believe-
doing an executive role for the whole time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's what they're doing because Ric Flair pretty much comes out to be like, oh, and also if you need the backstory on that, Ric Flair is even involved because he bought Shane and Stephanie's shares of the company, which
After
was
the
of
failed
course
invasion.
after the failed invasion. So he bought the Alliance shares of the company. So now Ric Flair is part owner with Vince McMahon. If you need the backstory on that,
I had
the
a bit of a
context.
thought. I had a bit of a thought when I remember when that was going on.
Hmm.
How many divorces has Ric Flair been through up to that point that he could afford those shares?
That's a good
At least
point.
3, I
I
think.
was gonna say, I was gonna say probably going on 4 or 5, but yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know. A lot.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes. And
Hey,
if we're
that
in
man
real
made a
life-
lot of money in the 80s. That's all I'm gonna say.
This
Yeah,
is
he did.
true.
and it's gone.
And it's gone.
And it's gone.
But you know what
Um,
I thought it was funny? The advertiser was Lugs Boots.
Yeah,
Oh, bro,
I tracked
that's-
that too. Dude, when you
that's-
look at some of these old advertisers,
I love
like
it.
it's
1-800
great.
collect.
Seeing the 10 10 220, the
Oh.
1-800 collects,
Bad Stack,
Lugs
was it
boots. There's so many good ones, man. There's so many ones that like just things that aren't
Stackers.
around anymore.
Stridex acne pads.
Oh
Yep.
my God.
Yeah.
There were some doozies. Oh my God.
What was that fat burner? Like a stacks
Stacker
or something
2.
like that? Stacker
There was
Stacker
one.
2,
There was
yeah,
one
yeah.
more. It was more the late Karate Fighters.
Karate
Oh
fighters.
wow.
Yeah,
It was
wow.
it was that toy. It was like almost like it was like a Rock'em Sock'em Robots like style.
Oh,
of
okay.
toy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was those like
But they
fighters
threw like
on-
roundhouse kicks and shit.
Yeah. That was more like late 90s.
Yeah.
Like there's like specifically 96. There's like whole like sketches on Raw of like the wrestlers just playing with them for advertising. But like all that shit I remember. Yeah, the old advertising. Oh, I love it. But yeah, so Ric Flair comes out and says, "Okay, it's time to start the show." And then the first match comes out, and I go, "Maybe I would have listened to these two talk for a little longer." Because the opening match of the show were greeted with Albert and Scotty Too Hottie, who they were a tag team, huh?
Yeah.
The hip hop hippo.
And no, and was Albert man like? Listen, we can say what we say about Scotty Too Hottie. The worm was over as shit, still is.
Still is.
Yep.
What was the first iteration of that? Him and Brian Too Much, I think, before they were like the hip hop
Yes.
dudes and they were just tag team. Those dudes were just a
They
good
were
tag team.
originally Too Much, then they turned
Right.
into Too Cool, and
Too
they got
Cool.
Rikishi involved, and they were
Yep.
Too Cool. But yeah, Too Much was the original tag.
Okay,
name.
yeah, I remember. Okay, yeah. So then I don't even remember. Like, was Albert just be like, you need a big guy. Here's Albert.
I feel like he was like full gimmicked involved at that point.
Yeah, he was the hip hop hippo.
Man, this is.
I don't know
mean,
how it
he was in
started.
Exactly.
Mostly
Was Brian
because-
Christopher not part of the company at the time? Is that
I feel like he was having his issues by this point.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he was either fired or something at this point. So they
Rehab
were
or-
right. Yeah, exactly. I'm sure there was something.
Rest in
But-
peace.
I know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, another unfortunate passing in this match too.
That was a rough
Oh,
one.
I know. Yeah. So yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Scotty Too
Ted-
Hottie and Albert against Test and Christian.
Yeah.
The Un-Americans.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Soon after, man.
Was
What
this were they the Un-Americans at this point?
I don't think so. Not
I
yet.
don't think they were at
No,
this
it
point. 'Cause
wasn't
I don't
official?
remember them. I don't think so because I don't remember them talking about that
No.
while watching the pay-per-view. I feel like that
I
would
think
have been
maybe
more.
I think maybe they gave it a year after 9/11 to try something.
Oh yeah, that's also true. This is 2 months after 9/11, which is
Yeah.
something that I had thought of while I was watching
Yeah.
the show.
Bro, could you
'Cause
imagine
I'm
if
just
they
like
tried
watching
to
the crowd going nuts, and I'm just like, it's
Yeah.
like hard to remember like how people were really reacting after
Mm-hmm.
this because this is it's just like 2 months after, and it's just like here you got full pack stadium, everyone's like really into it, and like all I could think about was just like, man, I wonder like if any of these people were like scared at the time, like not
Wow.
the WWF event would be like a major target.
No, but there was listen. I think
Fact,
people forget there was a
but
lot of that stuff of like
there was.
like
I
the Super
remember
Bowl,
a lot of
like the
people
first
feeling
Super Bowl. People were like, "Oh, they're these plans. They're gonna like bomb the Super Bowl." Like any big event.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm sure there was a little bit of like that anxiety and stuff like that at the time. Which again, I think that part gets forgotten now.
You know,
Yeah.
you say that though,
Never
and you
forget.
think Maybe that's why we had such a good, like a fond feeling about this back in the day.
Maybe.
Maybe it was like one of those things that it was like, oh, that's a big moment in wrestling that
Mhm.
kind of took over that
Yeah,
gap or
right.
something.
Kind of lets you forget a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
right.
like, you know, when the Yankees and the Mets started playing their first games after 9/11, and like the everybody was at the stadium and everybody was,
Yeah.
you know, with their flags and their
Like that, yeah, like that
and their
Mike
signs and
Piazza.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that Mike
That might have
Piazza
been a
home
shitty
run.
game.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
Mike Piazza home run's memorable because of the moment in time, and not even just
Yeah,
not
for
because
sure.
of the game.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, no, maybe you're right. Maybe, I mean, that stuff is, yeah, that stuff's tough to remember from like our own mindset, I guess. But if you're trying to put this into some sort of context, that does make sense.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
listen, this match was a match that happened in wrestling history, and that's, you know,
Wasn't bad, wasn't great.
it was certainly a match.
Yes. Of
Out of
all
all
the
the matches
matches
I've
I've
seen,
seen,
that was one of them.
thank you.
I mean, nothing special.
I
Albert
beat
and
Skylar
yeah.
to his own tagline there.
But
I
yeah,
did remember though, because I was like, oh shit, European champion. That belt was retired like 8 months later.
Something
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
smartly.
Yeah.
AEW should take some clues with the number of
Mhm.
titles. Just saying, because we were nuts at this. I know, like maybe the invasion and stuff, but like it was a little silly at this point. You had
yeah.
so many titles. So if anybody from AEW is listening, less
I'm
championships.
trying to think. There was the WWF, or yeah, still WWF,
Yep. The world.
World, Intercontinental, European,
European, both
Hardcore,
tags,
Core.
the light heavyweight. No,
cruiserweight,
You had some,
cruiserweight.
yeah.
both tag titles
Both tag.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, they unified the tag titles
at this point, or
at this point. Yeah, because you got to remember this is not long after
I do think
Survivor
Invasion.
Series.
I do think Invasion cleaned a lot of that up as far as like titles, because those first couple months it was like, all right, every dude in this fucking locker room's
Well,
got a title.
No,
Everyone's got a belt.
Survivor Series is the month before was when they started unifying all the
Oh,
titles.
no kidding! I thought they did before.
Because Edge beat Test to unify the IC and US titles.
Mm.
The Dudleys beat the Hardys to unify the tag team titles, which we're about to address.
Yes.
And I think somewhere around there, X-Pac
Yeah.
was X-Pac. Something with the cruiserweight title.
X-Pac in 2001 is the definition of why we say X-Pac heat. That's all.
Yes.
I think one of the belts retired on him.
Probably light heavyweight.
Probably
or
the light
something.
heavyweight or
That's all I
something.
can think of. But listen, Albert and
Uh-oh.
Scotty Too Hottie beat Test and Christian, and this feels like a match should have been on Sunday Night Heat, not Vince McMahon getting his head shoved up Rikishi's ass or whatever the fuck had happened. Either way, especially an opener. I mean, and then the next match, like they're just, and it's like, because like I'll get into the next match, but it's like you have Edge defeating William Regal in an IC title match, and when you say that, it feels like there should be like a lot more to it, but it's still just
is not.
But it still just like falls flat. Like you have, you obviously you have like your William Regal, listen, it's Edge and William Regal. Like we all know what those two are about. Both great. Just in 2001, you have your, your typical William Regal spots with the, the brass knucks, all that shit.
Power of the punch.
But I don't know, but there was something about Edge where I think at this point, maybe I feel like I can remember that I wasn't convinced of him being like this top guy they were clearly trying to position him as yet.
Yeah, it was obviously before any of his world title runs or WWF or WWE title runs. So before he was thrown into the full-on main event picture, but obviously he had split from Christian. They were giving him a solo run. So I think you're not alone in that. I think there's a lot of people that were kind of like unsure on him because we've been used to seeing these great tag team classics out of him for so many years against the Hardys and the Dudleys, and now all of a sudden you're trying to push this guy as a singles guy. It's tough when you're known for being like a top tier tag team wrestler to just all of a sudden being by yourself. Like that's why we have like the whole analogy between the Michaels and the Jannetty, so to speak. Because we've seen this situation come up so many times where it's just like either one or both members will just fail and it just won't work out. Obviously that did not happen in Edge's case. He ended up turning into the star that I guess WWE assumed that he would be, and he's still fucking wrestling today. He's still a huge star, obviously, but I do agree with you that during this specific time, it was kind of hard to tell which way he was really going to go.
Right.
I just thought it was so wild that this is the same year that TLC at WrestleMania happened. And now you have
Yeah.
all these tag teams that have split up like 6 months later. And for some reason, thinking back to that time, I thought though that like three-way Dudley's, Hardys, and Edge and Christian was so much longer than it actually was.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And most these guys have been singles for significantly more time than they were ever tag teams. It's
Yeah.
kind of wild.
It is. I mean, like that just goes that goes along with just the longevity of a lot of their careers, obviously. You know, Edge and Christian are still working today. They're both working at AEW, obviously. You
The
have
Hardys are both
Yeah,
there,
both there.
Well,
Yep.
sort of.
They're-
Well,
Yeah.
physically.
But the Hardys
Yeah,
have had
yeah.
multiple runs where like they split up, they get back together.
That's true.
We haven't really seen that as
Oh, we'll
much
get
from
to
like
that.
Edge and Christian. But in fact, you know, obviously now they have like their whole thing going on with AEW. And you know, honestly, I think like the best thing that AEW has done in months was when Christian told Edge to go fuck himself. I thought that was like the greatest thing that they did in a long time. So I mean, I wish we could have gotten a little bit more out of that angle. Maybe we will. I don't know, but either way,
They're having
Then
a
you got
match
guys-
next week, actually.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We're recording
they?
this
Oh.
on March 14th. You're listening to this on March 15th. On March 20th, Dynamite of 2024. Christian Cage and Adam Copeland
Yeah.
in an I Quit
Just-
match.
One thing about AEW, and I know we've said this before, too many fucking Adams. Too many Adams.
Oh yeah,
And
You
too
guys
many
got way too
pages.
many
Too many
Adams.
Adams and too many pages.
and
Well,
an Adam
Ethan
Page.
Page is like never
Ugh.
on TV, so
That's true.
He's a
Shocker.
dick behind the scenes.
who, Ethan?
Yeah,
Is he really?
according to somebody I know who has worked with him directly.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, he is all ego.
Who could
Oh
that-
yeah.
who could that
Apparently
be?
He is all ego for sure.
No, let's not give up sources because that's how we lose them.
Nah.
Oh, it's not a wrestler. It's not a wrestler.
Yeah.
It's on
But
the
it's just
merch
somebody who's
merch
there.
side.
Gotcha.
Oh, all right.
Why didn't you sell more of my shirts? Because you suck. For the record, I don't think Ethan Page sucks. I actually really like Ethan Page, but
Right.
if he's a dick behind the scenes, then you know it's
Yeah.
If you're a dick, you're a dick. Fuck you then.
Get on TV more.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, but I don't know, man. Edge retains the IC title. I don't know.
It was
Match-
though. He was 28 right here. He looked like he was 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
looks so young. Yeah,
He still looks like he was a tall cruiserweight.
Yeah.
yeah. That's
Well,
another
that-
thing too.
yeah.
He definitely wasn't as stocky as he turned out to be
Yeah.
later in his career. Like he
Well, we're
definitely
also, I
put
mean,
on
we're
more
also,
muscle.
yeah, we're also not at the point of like some of the smaller guys being like on top yet. Like I know, you know, you had like, because he even like looks smaller than like a Bret Hart or a Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, if you want to compare it to those guys, like I said, he looks like he doesn't. Obviously, he does, but you know, at the time, 2001, we're not really at this, you know, small guys, or you know, we're not at the Rey Mysterio world title run yet. So
Right.
I think like the smallest guy that you had in that main event picture at that time would probably be Kurt Angle, just because like he is kind of on
Yeah.
the shorter side.
Or Jericho.
But,
I mean,
like,
isn't
Jericho.
Jericho shorter?
probably Jericho.
oh well,
too.
no, that's true. That's true. Jericho's pretty
Yeah.
small, guys.
I think that's why him being in those matches was so like holy shit.
Surprising.
Yeah,
Like what?
yeah,
Because he was technically a cruiserweight in WCW.
that's true.
Yeah, well, WCW never really booked him
Yeah,
right,
no.
which is why he left in the first
Yeah.
place. But
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we'll
The whole angle
I'm
with
sure we'll have our
Goldberg still.
thoughts when we get to those main event matches.
One thing
Um,
though, real
Oh,
quick,
yeah.
Regal no sold that finish. He literally took it, pinned, got up, and walked out. And I'm like, people complain now that like wrestlers no sell, but
Mm.
Regal just didn't do it for him. He was just like, I'm out. Just
Yeah.
1,
See
2,
ya.
3, up and out.
pulled an Austin Aries.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was about to say that.
Yeah,
I'm pissed.
I was just like, wow, okay, Regal. I feel like
Yeah.
Regal is known for a little bit more respect, and he just got up and peace out. motherfucker.
maybe he was going through a hard time. Maybe
Different
maybe
times,
was-
different
maybe
times
he
in
didn't
2000.
agree with the booking decision himself. Who knows? I
Oh,
don't know.
yeah,
There could be
yeah.
a lot into that. You know.
That does not
True,
work
true.
for me, sir.
That doesn't work for me, sunshine.
Oh yeah, duh. Of course. What else? Well, of course that's how he would say it. I'm dumb.
You're
All
fired.
right. Look,
Oh.
look, let's get into it. Jeff Hardy defeats Matt Hardy. Lita's the special guest referee.
This
Okay.
match should have been better.
Let
There, I
me
said it.
all right.
There,
Let
I
me
said
let
it.
me let me go off on a little bit. Not go
By
off.
far.
Not go off because we clearly, again, we can look back and see that Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy at this point neither were ready. Neither really had a good character. They were just
Whiny.
from our point of view in 2001, these are just like, okay, your brothers feuding. And I feel like we all wanted this match back in the day just because that's what you did. Tag teams broke up and then they fought.
Yep.
So I feel like this was a natural progression of like, all right, yeah, let's see this match. And then I remember it not being that strong then, and it certainly doesn't hold up all these years later. And let me say,
No,
let me
this
just
was
say
rough.
something. Let me say, I got it, Lita. Listen, for her era, arguably the most talented woman that company had wrestling wise.
Mhm.
Yep.
When you consider all the diva crap and all the stuff they put them through and the non-matches, which we'll get to one later on this card.
Oh, I can't wait for that one.
And
Yep.
so she was, she's a Hall of Famer for a reason. But the fucking acting chops when push came to shove with Lita, man, it was never there. It was not there here. It was not there in the Kane Gene Snitsky stuff.
Mm.
Her best run was clearly as the valet with Edge.
Yep.
But even then, like it wasn't even acting. It was just like just the shit heel stuff she would do as the manager was perfect and fit with Edge. But anytime they needed her in like a big promo spot, in some sort of acting spot or something, that shit fell flat every time. Whether it was the wedding angle, she couldn't like she never like looked scared. Like I don't know. It feels like to me, and I know we're talking about acting and it's wrestlers acting,
Especially
and I know
2001.
exactly. And I know it's not really wrestler's strong suit, but it just they would do these angles all the time, and I'm just like, I'm not fucking getting it with Lita, man.
I
I
think
don't
that's
know.
what separates, the best from the
Yeah.
rest, so to speak, is that like you can be a great worker, you can be even like you can even be good on promos, but like if you can't like actually act and
Yeah.
like respond to situations, it's gonna show.
Yeah.
And like
And
I
and we're
think
talking minimal stuff here. I'm not
Yeah.
talking, you don't need fucking,
well, I got an example for you. Like I think this is something that any of the Triple H haters out there, like this is something that kind of put Triple H over to a new level, was the fact that he was able to really get responses like just out of like the littlest shit. Something as simple as Mick Foley taking off his shirt and showing he's got, his fucking Cactus Jack shirt on underneath, and Triple H sold it like this was like the worst thing
Yes.
that could ever fucking happen to
Right.
him. And that's what got Cactus Jack over in that whole storyline between those guys.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that like when you really like look at it and just see like the kind of, I guess, like the small nuances that certain people can do and relay, it really makes a big difference. And I just don't think that obviously Lita was ever her strong suit, and she's not the only one. There's plenty. Like I'm
Right.
not trying to just bash on Lita here, obviously, but
Look
there's
at the
plenty of
people she
people
was
that
in the
don't
rings
do it
with.
like that. What?
Look at the people she was in the ring with
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah,
at the time.
At the time, I was gonna say
I-
we saw much
Matt
better
Hardy.
stuff.
yeah.
But even think about the guys who like did exactly what you just said, CJ, who like came up and did all those things. Those guys are megastars even to today.
Mhm.
Like other ones are known, like, oh yeah, I remember that guy from 2001, but they're not the megastars that some of these guys, even acting wise.
Yeah.
So
And that's why, like, Stone Cold Steve Austin obviously is great at it. His whole gimmick was like not being really afraid of anybody, but like the way that he could act made him very believable as a character, which is why he got roles in Hollywood afterwards. And he probably could
Exactly.
still be getting roles in Hollywood. He just decided he didn't want to do that.
now he
Yeah.
just does reality TV shows.
Yeah, and what's
And he's
funny too is
happy.
like, so I've listened to some Stone Cold interviews and stuff recently where they talked about how like he didn't stop acting in Hollywood movies because he wasn't getting jobs. He was still getting offers. He ended up just turning them down because he fell in love with podcasting, and then he started a reality show, and he felt like hosting was more of his kind of shtick than it was
Yeah.
actually acting in movies. So for him to like kind of realize that and be like, you know what, like, even though like I can do this, even though they want me to do this, like it's not really what I want to do. I'm going to do my own thing and then still be able to come up and be one of the best at what he does. Cause I think he is one of the best when it comes to like wrestling podcasters, interviewers, stuff like that. He's definitely among the best, still going today. So like to find his niche like that and just kind of to be like, nope, this is what I'm going to do. Like, you know, props to him for sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's not to say that he couldn't have done it, you know, like
Yeah.
we could have had a condemned 14 by now. Who knows?
Yeah. And to listen, and I'm just gonna throw out there, it's been a minute since he's done one of the Stone Cold, whatever he calls it on Peacock now. It's been a minute since
Skull
it's been a
Rush?
minute since we've had
Or-
it used to be podcast. Now it's like
Broken Skull
Broken Skull
Sessions.
Sessions.
Skull
Thank
Sessions.
you.
Yeah,
It's been a while since we've had one of those, so we're a little overdue. So
yeah.
I'll throw that out into the universe. Hey, if any of those guests were gonna go on to that show, just come on ours. I mean, come on.
Yeah, we're open.
Yeah. Well, whatever you want. You want me to fly to you? Sure. But you know how fucking fast if like Triple H was like, hey, I want to do your podcast. Do you know how fucking fast I'd be in my car to Connecticut and be like, yeah, bro, when the fuck ever?
Yeah.
3 a.m. on a Sure.
Whatever you need, bud.
The same
well,
way that
obviously we gotta be
I will be getting in my car and going to Connecticut on Friday, April 26th to West Haven, Connecticut, the Elks
Good
Lodge
segue.
for Coliseum Pro Wrestling. You should be there too. Instagram at Coliseum Pro Wrestling for all the info.
Come meet Mike. He'll give you a limp wrist hand job.
Yes.
Yes.
Now you have to do it because I said it on air. So
Someone's gonna fucking come up to me and be
Heard you
like,
giving away hand jobs. You're gonna be like, God damn it.
fine.
Uh,
All right, let's go to the back.
Oh man. But anyway, so yeah, the match just it
sucked.
yeah. Which is
It was very
shocking.
disappointing.
You would think that two brothers in like the worst
Whoa,
of spots.
whoa. Two brothers who grew up in fucking North Carolina, which is fucking Flair country,
Yeah, it is.
Right.
and you can't pull out a decent match.
But also the fact, but even like all the pre WWF stuff, when they were like before jobbers, like they had their own like what, Omega Wrestling or whatever it was, and they all wrestled each other for years anyway. So you would think just simply based off that the match would be better. And I don't think it's for lack of time. The match goes 12 and a half minutes.
No, you think that there would be some better chemistry there. I think like me,
Yeah,
I think
so
me and
I
my
don't know
brother, my brother who's never wrestled or been trained a day in his life would probably have better chemistry than some of what happened in that match. I feel
That's what
like.
I'm saying. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Maybe was the beginning of Jeff's drug abuse.
It's possible, man, but I don't know.
Well, let's not forget Matt had his own issues too.
Well, that's true.
True.
But
Jeff just
and-
happens to constantly overshadow
Yeah.
him with his.
Yeah, and I know it's years later, but even short term, you can look at Matt Hardy's character after he is done with that, and you get the Matt Hardy version 1 stuff. It's like all of that stuff is better than this, and I feel like they never really did they get the chance to work together prior to, the Impact stuff, like with the deletion stuff.
I know they worked each other in Impact, but I don't know.
That's
if
what I
they
mean.
did.
I don't remember if they had anything in
Between that.
WWE.
Not really.
I don't think they had any like major feud or angle.
Yeah, right. So so I mean, but then you saw what they did with that, and it was awesome. So, I'm shocked that even at the time that this just wasn't as good as we thought.
Yeah.
And it is what it is.
Yeah.
But
It's,
listen, it was again.
Obviously, they both
certainly-
turned into who they turned into.
Oh, of
and
course.
had the careers that they've had. So it's like it's not even like a knock on them.
Oh yeah, no, it's just this
it was just
specific.
disappointing.
Yeah.
Especially going back and revisiting it and realizing like, man, like this should be a good one. This should like, this should really, because the first couple matches, not that they were the worst matches ever, but like this, I felt like by that match, like this is really what's going to kick off this card. This is how it's, like,
and
to
it-
see-
boy,
to see
did it
play
not.
out.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's wild, but listen, it happened. Moving on. Tag team championships, the Dudleys versus the Big Show and Kane.
Forgot about that tag team.
How I feel like this is a tag team that's happened like a bunch of times over the years
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
but never
Okay.
like serious enough to remember.
I know, but this was,
But they have been
yeah.
tag team champions together, like
Well,
more
of
than
course
once.
they were.
Really? Wow. See, I
We
don't remember
sort
that
of
at all.
we sort of discussed this with the House of Pain last week about just tag team wrestling in general at this point, where it was just tag team wrestling sort of it was there, but it wasn't really ever a big priority.
Especially
Yeah,
after they all
they didn't
broke
put
up.
yeah. They didn't put focus on the teams. Like
No.
you said, like a lot of teams were breaking up, guys were getting pushed to single stars. You had a lot of single guys come together to
Yep.
form tag teams just to put tag team matches
Right.
on your card.
Yep.
It really like I think this is kind of the start, maybe even slightly before this was kind of like the start of WWE kind of devaluing tag
Mhm.
team wrestling. And obviously we had to deal with that for a long time until
Yeah.
like now I feel like
We're back.
I'd say within like the past
Yeah,
like
getting
10,
better.
10 years or so, like tag team wrestling has really kind of gone,
Yeah.
and not just in WWE, but in general has kind of
Yeah.
gone under like a bit of a renaissance. But yeah, this was definitely kind of
Yeah.
towards the beginning, if not slightly before, where tag team wrestling really was
Yeah.
not a priority for WWE or the industry.
When was the 2-man power trip tag team?
That was earlier that year.
Okay, so yeah, so we're in that same era of just take two dudes and here you go.
Yeah. Although 2-man power trip was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, no, it's not. But yeah, you take two top stars and put them in a team. Of course, it'll be good.
Yeah.
But it's just like again, it's the example of just just throw two guys together and it's a match. See, yeah, the Dudleys win 6 minutes and 50 seconds, and again, the name's in the match, and you're just like, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
It was
is
nice
like,
seeing Stacy Keeper though.
well,
I
yeah,
was gonna say at least we got to see Stacey
Yeah.
Keebler. That's
That's
always
true.
I
fun.
don't think what Big Show did would fly in 2024, but it was still
Not really.
nice.
No. No. But what else? I mean, what else? Nothing would at this point.
There will be a whole match coming up that doesn't fly in 2024.
Yeah.
Holy shit, man.
I will say though, I don't know if you're moving on from this match because there's not much to say about it. But
Not
Not
trying, man.
the don't try this at home. Remember those? They don't
Yeah.
do that anymore really as much.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
those
maybe it's like an implied thing at this point. I don't know.
And it would just show all the graphic, like people
Parents
getting
have to
hurt
talk to their
and
kids. Oh shit.
shit. Yeah, right.
God damn.
yeah, that was a big thing back then though. That I
Wait,
remember seeing that all the time.
Yeah. Well, they always showed the clip of Triple H the quad tear. That was always in there. I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah. Didn't they always show Lita doing the suicide dive where like she
Oh yeah. I think
fell
so.
head
At some
first,
point.
too?
Yeah, at some point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I feel like
do
they
remember
just
that.
stopped doing that. Or
Yeah.
at least that way. They're not showing the injuries and saying don't try this at home.
No,
Yeah,
I
right.
don't think they show that at all really anymore.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No.
I don't know.
But-
Maybe they got like a whole website
They
about
should
it.
have
and we
they
just
should
don't
have
know
just
where it
put
is.
like Big Show smacking Stacy on the ass is don't try this.
Don't try this at
Yeah,
home.
right.
Oh my God. All right, moving on. Undertaker, the weird spot for Undertaker, but Undertaker defeats Rob Van Dam 11 minutes 8 seconds in a hardcore title match. We're
That was
clearly
fun.
we're clearly full in with the 24/7 stuff, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, the fact that there were like hardcore matches on the pay-per-view was always like crazy to me. And I get it, but I don't know. Maybe I just have like the whole 24/7 title shit, a recency bias in my head about it, where it was just like, all right, you guys are just gonna run through a random segment on Raw every week, and that's that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'm like, they were like legit trying, like, I don't know what they were trying to do with this thing in 2001, but like the Undertaker has it, and it was weird.
Yeah.
Like,
Definitely a weird spot for Taker at that point in his
Yeah.
career.
Like,
The match
you
was
would-
so
he's done already.
tame.
yeah, I know.
So tame
Like,
for a
again,
hardcore match.
but
I
like,
thought it was
bro,
kind of fun.
no, the hardcore matches stuff, the hardcore match stuff can be fun, but like, again, you're like, all right, Undertaker, RVD, and again, it just feels like like something's missing. Like what, well, I don't know what it is, and it feels like, maybe not RVD at this point, but like Undertaker could have been in this main event spot. But I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. You're trying to like, you're building your card. I guess at this point, Undertaker wasn't. We'd obviously know he'd be champ again later on as the American Badass, no less. But this just, I don't know, man. Maybe he was just trying to get the American flag over every week. I don't know.
Well, at
RVD
this
had a
point, he
better
was- he was-
hardcore
Well, he
match
was a
like 2
heel.
weeks ago.
I was gonna say Taker was a heel at this point, so he was doing.
I know, but
It was like kind of big evil kind of. It was like the beginning of the American Badass thing, but like it was it it was
Wasn't
weird
there
because
yet.
like he was doing that whole gimmick where he's just like, oh, I like he didn't feel like he was getting enough respect. He did the thing with Jim Ross and the Kiss My Ass Club that we mentioned earlier.
yeah,
You know, so it was just a weird spot because I feel like he wasn't doing his dead man gimmick. Um,
yeah,
People probably were still kind of unsure about how that was, and on
yeah,
top of that, now he's a heel. He's going against RVD, who's like a legit
yeah,
hardcore guy coming from ECW.
yeah, right.
That's why I was like, it
It's
was
just a
so
weird
tame.
spot. Yeah. Well, I mean, WWE's or WWF's hardcore stuff was not this. It was never the same as ECW. Granted, they had
Which
their
is funny. Which
bloodbaths.
is funny to say in this era too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was never really the same as ECW. So for like RVD coming in to WWF and doing a hardcore match, it's almost like, hey, we want you to do what you did on ECW, but we want you to water it down. And
Right.
like that's kind of like how it was.
Right. And
Yeah.
considering within the last 2 years of that company, you had uh, your Triple H Cactus Jack stuff, and then you had your,
Yeah.
Rock and Mick Foley match from, whether
Oh
two
boy.
years prior or whatever. So like the
The
fact that
Beyond
you
the Mat.
yeah,
The
right. Yeah,
Beyond the
yeah,
Mat
yeah, yeah.
match. Yeah.
The Beyond the Mat special, yeah. The fact that you have that, fairly recent. I know, 2 years isn't a short amount of time in wrestling, but like, yeah, not saying they should have done shit like that, but just yeah, it just again, it's like we've described with this whole pay-per-view. It's like just something felt off
Hmm.
with this whole undercard.
You know what I think it is? I'm thinking right now is that I think they were trying to catch the crowd because the crowd was hot the whole
Right.
time. So I
No,
think
I
that
agree.
wrestling was so popular at this point that the matches didn't need to be great. And I feel like now the matches are more solid
Yeah.
because that's what it's focused on.
And I think like more people, like a lot of people, like you said, like that crowd was very hot. Wrestling was very over at the time. But I think like we all obviously saw a big dip in wrestling when it came to like fans and just the product in general. And now that it's kind of on a resurgence, like, wrestling's probably more popular than it's been since the Attitude Era
Yeah.
at this point, I'd say. And I think a large part of that is because the quality of the matches have gotten so much better. The quality of the wrestlers have gotten so much better.
Yeah.
They're just putting on better products, obviously, the writing and everything involved. It's a big, obviously mixture of things. But I do think you're right, Rob, that like back in that day, they kind of took that for granted. And that's probably why we saw that big dip for as long as we did, because
Yeah.
they weren't really focused on putting on the best product that they could have. Think
It's
about
true.
all the guys. Think about all the guys that we talk about like WWE's roster now and AEW's roster now. Think about all the guys that were involved in wrestling in that day that either just weren't being used correctly if they were hired by WWF, or just weren't there at all because WWF didn't feel like paying WCW's biggest stars. Like, like we talked about the whole invasion before, missing all of the big stars. We didn't have, the Goldberg didn't come till later. We didn't have
NWO.
Yeah.
NWO didn't come till later.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Bret Hart was done at that point, and I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have come back at that point anyway.
Yeah.
But like we didn't have all these big names that like when WCW folded that they could have had. Instead, we got, Buff Bagwell and
Well, for a week.
Booker T was the only like I
Big
think legit star
Mhm.
that
and
they
Flair.
DDP.
DDP even like
DDP.
wasn't like
Did-
DDP
did he
wasn't
show
really
up yet?
there.
I don't think
'Cause
he's
didn't he
here
show
yet.
up with the
DDP
whole
was
he was the stalker, right?
DDP was like one of the first ones.
Really? Why do I not remember this?
I don't remember that.
I
either.
remember
He was
him.
the stalker. That
Yeah,
was
I remember
the
him
whole
as
stalker gimmick.
I remember him as the stalker with the really white teeth and all that.
Mhm.
No, you're thinking when he was trying to be the motivational speaker.
I don't
with the
know,
really
man. That
white
shit all
teeth.
blends together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he was stalking Undertaker's wife at the time. That was
Yeah.
like that was the beginning of the invasion.
I thought that was like a year after that. So
Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah,
after
I thought
too,
that
to
was
be fair.
later.
Nope.
all
Nope,
right.
that was it right at the beginning of the invasion.
Maybe he was like maybe he's hurt. Maybe he got hurt or something.
And remember, at this point, the competition's over. There is no more competition.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And you got
But
these
there's a lot
wrestlers
of
probably
guys, yeah.
fought so hard and wrestled so
Yeah.
hard over the last couple of years. They're
Yep.
like, fuck it.
Yeah. And
Well,
granted,
they were
and
all
this,
still
yeah.
getting paid too, I think.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
pretty
that's
sure
why
all those
I don't-
WCW contracts got bought
Yeah.
out. Like, so it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so you want me to come back and be on TV, but you're not willing to pay me what WCW paid me,
That was
or
it.
I could just sit at home and collect my paycheck. I
Right.
think I'll just do that.
And if
That's
you're
what
if you're a big enough star, I think the star power had all to do with it at the Invasion. If you were a Kevin Nash or Hulk Hogan, whatever,
No
yeah,
Sting.
sure.
How do you not get Sting? How do
I
you
know,
buy
but-
WCW
Yeah.
and not put
But
Sting
if
on
but if
TV?
you're all those guys, I don't blame them for just sitting home and collecting
No.
more money than what WWF would have offered them, because they know they're a big enough star that, well, when this time runs out, I'm sure I'll get that call anyway, which most of them did. Sting was the only one because for whatever reason, I know he went to, TNA in early on and stuff, but I'm sure he could have held out, whatever the case. But, like I said, I don't blame either side for WWF for not just blindly matching it, because it could be a waste of money, especially they're a public company at this point.
Mhm.
And I don't blame the WCW guys for saying, "No, I'm good. I'll sit home."
Yeah.
After, going for the last, 5 years nonstop
Yeah.
or longer than that for some of those guys' cases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, listen, Undertaker RVD. Listen, clearly the American Badass character. I think Dennis will love this conversation. I don't think it necessarily got a bad rap, but I think at that point in like 04 when people were clamoring for the Dead Man, I can look back and say, maybe I wish he did that a little longer because it was cool.
Mhm.
And then when he went out in the Bone Zone match, the Boneyard match
Oh,
The
yeah.
Bones.
Oh,
against
God.
AJ Styles, and he sort of brought that back. It was cool as hell. So a very good time for Undertaker that maybe we didn't look at as fondly as maybe we should have at the time.
That's fair.
But
You don't
anyway.
know what
I
you
remember
got
being-
until it's gone.
Yeah.
I remember at that time definitely being one of those people that are just like, I'm tired of this. I want to see the Dead Man come back.
right.
I want to see the
Right.
Phenom, all that. Excuse me. I definitely remember being one of those people for sure. But
Yeah.
but at the same time, whenever they've kind of teased the American Badass thing again, or like you said in the Boneyard match where he like kind of like debuted it, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like people pop for it, people love it.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know what? Maybe a lot of that stuff wasn't probably as bad as I thought at the time.
We thought.
But not that I thought it. Not even
yeah.
that I thought it was bad. It was just like
Yeah.
I want my Purple Glove Undertaker back. I want my, what I mean? Like,
Right.
which
Well, I
by the
don't know,
way,
man,
that was
yeah.
something I did want for a long time. Like when he stopped wearing the purple gloves, I was very upset.
Hmm.
Even when he was still doing the Dead Man stuff, but like
Right.
I was just like he had
Well, he had to be darker with the ministry and the corporate
No,
ministry and
I know, but like I missed the
what other offshoot factions came of all that in the late 90s.
corporate ministry.
And then there was, I'm sure there was something else. I'm sure there's something else I'm missing.
Is there anything that like makes less sense than the corporate ministry when you think
No.
about it? Like as a gimmick, like you have
No.
like all these basically like these gothic underworld types just teaming together with like these billionaire fucking hedge fund types, and it's just like, yeah, those are the guys that are going to eat lunch together.
Yeah,
Devil
it's very funny because
and
it was
corporate.
certainly the closest they got to like an NWO faction where it's like, oh, the corporate ministry is half the roster, got it,
Yeah,
and Stone Cold's going to beat them all. Okay,
Yep.
He was so overpowered. Fucking
Yeah,
dude,
Stone Cold was-
wrestling is wild, dude. Like
Stone Cold was definitely
just,
OP back in
just
the
saying
late
the
90s.
just saying the last couple sentences. It's like, all right, well, instead of Sting coming down and just beating the whole NWO, all right, Austin just beats 15 guys. Yeah, book it.
Also, keep in mind, like Austin had like a what was it, like $1 million bounty on his head in that Royal Rumble, and he still ended up winning.
Bro, I don't even
whatever
remember
year that
this.
was that
What
like
the
98 or 99, I think, or something?
So not the year
98.
Vince
98.
McMahon won it.
Yeah, Vince won 99.
Sorry, Vacant that won the 99 Rumble.
Vacant.
Current AEW Tag Team Champion Vacant.
Oh man,
I don't even
Greatest
know who the
champion of all
AEW
time.
tag team
Dude, the
champions are.
Undertaker in this like late 01, early 02, because then like he gets eliminated by Maven in the Royal Rumble a month later.
That
and
was
then
so great.
And then he beats the
Yeah.
fuck out of him. I think he's still the hardcore champ at the Rumble. By that, I'm just like,
That was more of a hardcore match with Maven in the Rumble than this was.
yeah,
Yeah.
because he just beat the fuck out of him for 10 minutes after he got eliminated. It was
Yeah.
like shit. All right, but just wild time going over this. Oh, good. We've gotten to this match. Trish Stratus
Oh,
defeats
good.
Trish Stratus defeats Jacqueline in 3 minutes and 34 seconds to retain the women's championship.
That match went by-
Sloppy.
It's
That
another
match went by
things.
so fast. I don't even. I just watched this pay-per-view. I just rewatched it like last week, and I
Yep.
still don't remember that match.
Sloppy,
That's-
sloppy.
Two
And it's-
things.
yeah, go ahead.
One, Trish clearly did not reach that level yet.
no.
Because
Yeah,
obviously,
that's clear.
obviously Trish would go on to be like one of the goats of
Yeah.
women's wrestling. Two, there was just so many things that reminded me of what a cringe period that time could be at that point.
Mm.
And three, because I can make up numbers. Shut the fuck up, King.
Oh
Dude,
man, I was
when
about to say that too.
Can I say that is not later on Jerry Lawler when he dialed back the puppies stuff,
Yeah.
but Attitude Era King kind of insufferable.
Oh,
Yes, very much
Yeah.
so.
I like even as a kid, I honestly like I could not stand Jerry the King Lawler
Like,
because I was like, this
I
dude
don't
just
like-
it's all the same shit.
I know, like I
Like,
definitely
I didn't find him funny.
no
Like
like
now like I can look back on it and I can kind of laugh at it and I find the humor in it a little
Mhm.
bit. But like growing up with it, I was just like, this is just
see
shut up.
and see like and I'm the opposite. Like at the time as a kid, I thought it was funny, but when I go back and watch the old stuff now, not even that. It's not even a matter of like, oh, I need everyone to be serious. This is wrestling. I'm just
Still
like,
real to me, damn it.
but I'm just like when you're cramming like 20 references to tits in a 2-minute thing, it's like
Yeah.
it's like my guy reel it in. But I know they
Get it,
didn't
you're
do
horny.
right, and it's like I'm sure he's got Vince McMahon in his ear, fucking pushing it on anyway.
Puppies.
Exactly.
Now in retrospect,
tits, pal.
Yeah.
now in retrospect, yeah, you could be right.
Like, but like but then it's like obviously like when I say I specifically say that because the later on stuff with him and Michael Cole, he's fine because clearly they're PG. He's not spending the
Right.
whole broadcast doing that, and he's actually a great color commentator, of course. Like I'm not denying that.
Right.
But it's like some of that stuff you're just like, my God, like it's almost like distracting. You're just like, all right, I'm just trying to watch, and you're just getting hammered with them with the references nonstop, and it's like literally
And
what was it, what I read 3 minutes and 34 seconds this match went, and
it did not help that there was a "We Want Puppies" chant.
Yep.
no,
Yeah.
I mean
That was that era.
I'm
of
sure I was. I
fans.
mean, I'm sure I was guilty of that if I was at a show back in the day. So
Bro, never mind.
I was
I
gonna
was
say,
gonna say
didn't we do this at Ring of Honor in
I was gonna say we did the
20
exact same thing at Ring of Honor
2016?
when we were like, how old were we then? Like 25 or somewhere around there?
20. So yeah, almost yeah.
To
I wasn't.
who may I ask?
Oh God, I know
I can't remember her name.
some Ring of Honor girl. Why am I forgetting?
Christy Hemme?
No, it
No,
wasn't Christy Hemme.
no, because it was,
It was she was with the
because we do
the,
no, bro, because it wasn't like we're in this big arena, we're in the upper deck. At this point at that Ring of Honor show, we're
we
standing
were
at
ground
the-
floor.
We were standing at the guardrail. They probably fucking saw us.
She was
just
with the House
chanting.
of Truth.
Oh fuck.
She was with Truth Martini and all those guys.
and Jay Lethal and those guys.
Yep.
Why am I blanking on this?
Whatever. Don't worry about it.
Please.
But we definitely started a hey, we want some titties chant.
Yeah, we
Like,
did.
And when I say we started, I mean like we like legit started a chant. Like we started saying it and then it just
we did.
grew.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, listen. It is Taylor Hendricks.
there it is.
Okay.
Okay. I get it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
get it.
yeah, you do.
I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I also would like to say that I don't think that there was a single moment that entire trip where I was sober. So if that helps.
I will say that me and
When in Rome.
Broccoli Rob are in a highlight package for that pay-per-view. And you and
Nice.
Anthony are not because you're going
Because I was getting beers.
Because you're getting beers.
Because like I said, I was not sober
Yeah.
that entire. Every time that I wasn't actively watching wrestling, I was getting beers.
Yes.
Like
I think
that
that's
was it. It was
that's
just
what
wrestling.
you're
and beers.
supposed to do, right?
Right.
Yeah. That whole weekend we were down in Dallas for WrestleMania. I don't know, man. Like I haven't had a drink in almost 4 years now, right? I've been, whatever, alcohol free it'll be 4 years in July. During that time, and I'm not to say that I was a raging alcoholic or whatever, anything like that, but when I was out on vacation and we were out with the boys, especially if we were just going to a bunch of wrestling events, yeah, I'm just gonna be sloshed the whole trip. And that's how it was. It's just
May I also throw out to the people that wrestling?
I was having shower beers. I would leave the beers in the
yeah.
shower.
Yeah.
I would
Jeez.
leave the bottles like
Yeah.
I remember like some cleaning lady came in and took all my beer bottles out of the shower, and I was actually mad about it.
Oh man. And note to people that go to these weekends, wrestling burnout and fatigue is real. Don't
Oh,
overdo
God.
it, because by the time we were done with Monday Night Raw, we were done.
Yeah.
We were like, no more, no more.
Remember
We've done.
the hockey game the night we landed, and I got you yelled at by that dad because I was drunkenly yelling at the game. I was just like,
yeah.
these fuck blah blah blah. I think I called
Oh,
somebody a cunt, and then like somebody's
Yeah.
dad just turned around to Mike. He's like, "You watch your language. I'm with my child," and I'm just like, "Yeah, Mike, watch your language."
Yeah. Me getting like me. Yes, this was clearly me. This was
Yep.
clearly me.
Not the super uber drunk guy sitting right behind me. No.
Well, what was he gonna say? Because there were there were 4 dudes who were obviously all over 300 pounds. So what was he gonna do? I love that still. Anthony still gets so mad at that.
Oh my God, that was hilarious. Yeah. So Mike, obviously, Rob, you know, both of us were both big dudes, right?
Yeah.
We had our friend Broccoli Rob with us, who's also he's bigger than both of us.
He's a big boy.
Yeah, he's a big boy. And then Anthony Lascalzo, Rob?
Yeah.
He was the 4th person with us.
Oh my
And,
God.
Anthony's short and like he's I'm not gonna say you're skinny, Anthony. I love you, but I won't say that about you. But you were definitely a lot thinner then than you might have been in other points in your life. And I remember we were walking down the street and some homeless guy, this is a fun story, but some homeless guy sees us walking down the street and he's panhandling for money, and we just kind of no sell him. We just walk by like just don't acknowledge it and just keep walking. And he goes, "Come on, I know y'all hear me. Y'all can't be scared of me, y'all being over 300 pounds and all." Anthony literally stopped in his tracks, turned around and goes, "Really?" I was dying.
Oh, dude, it was so funny.
And
It
we
was
still
so
talk
funny.
about that shit.
It was
yeah.
so funny. It was so goddamn funny. Oh my God.
And Anthony got legit offended at that one.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Oh my God.
But he's the guy who'll
man.
shave his head and dress up like his dad.
Yeah, he did do that.
He did do that.
He did that
do
for Halloween. He even got laid at that party.
I was
Wow.
I was gonna say which to his lovely girlfriend. This was long before you
Way
guys, clearly.
before.
So please, if you are somehow listening, if he's listening to this with you, hey, how's it going? And also, yes, this was many years ago.
Yeah,
but
believe it or not, people used to have sex with other people before they met
what?
their current. Like,
What?
It's hard to
But,
believe. I know.
I know,
It's crazy.
but
I never knew that.
But then, of course, then the obvious, well, who was this girl into? Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Which generation? No one knows.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway,
Do we have anything else to say about this match? Because I don't.
No.
we just went off on a whole tangent.
No, but I will say that if you need a good Trish Stratus match, it's funny how you can even go back from this past year and watch Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch in the cage match. I forget. I think it's Fastlane. I can't remember if that was the pay-per-view. Fucking incredible. So
That might have been
look
her
at-
best match ever.
It might have been. So if you look at that match compared to this pile of shit, come a long way. And that was what, 22 years after the fact. Yeah.
She like Skylar said, she really Trish Stratus. Speaking of, she really did become one of the goats in women's wrestling.
Yeah,
And
it
like,
took
it
till,
wasn't
like-
it wasn't even just because of the time. Like where like the time that she was wrestling, there wasn't a lot of great female wrestlers in the company. Most of them were just there for, you know, eye candy, so to speak.
Yeah.
She put the work in though.
But she really did, man. She really did get better. She put the work in. She got to the point in her career where even before she left, she was one of the best. So when she came back and proved that, like, hey, I could still be one of the best. I mean, who doesn't love seeing that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just being a heel too, because you figure a lot of those girls were just, oh,
Yeah.
hi, I'm so, and then to be a shit heel, fucking good then, and even better now.
Yep.
But yeah, listen, that don't let that pile of shit match deter you from what's coming after it. Because listen, finally we're at, I think, what this whole pay-per-view was here for. Well, I mean, it's not the first match, but I'll just say, is Chris Jericho in this spot because Triple H got hurt? I mean, granted, I know Triple H has been out for a while at this point, but this feels like if Triple H is healthy, he's in this and not Jericho.
Isn't Triple H the one that
I
beats
think
him?
there's a good chance.
Triple H does beat him at the,
So
at the
that's
next
probably
Mania.
just so it's probably just
Well,
a placeholder.
From what everyone has said, that Austin was supposed to go Mania to Mania, and it was supposed to, the upcoming Mania was supposed to be face Triple H versus heel Austin. Then,
Which, well, we know how the heel Austin stuff went.
Well, that Triple H blew out his quad.
Well, of course. But listen, so look, I mean, you know, that opinion side. So we have Stone Cold versus Kurt Angle. Stone Cold beats Kurt Angle for the WWF Championship, 14 minutes, 56 seconds. Now, clearly the story behind this whole tournament is Vince McMahon clearly wants, you know, clearly one of the heels. He clearly doesn't care which one. He does not want Stone Cold. He does not want The Rock. That part of the story is made very clear. You know, obviously, if if you're watching week to week, clearly, you know, that's obviously made clear, and it's made clear in these matches because there's, you have your interference, you have your different, ref spots and all that stuff going on. But Austin beats Kurt Angle, and listen, it's a Kurt Angle match, so it's probably going to be good. And this is the first match on this card where I feel like you're, at least rewatching where, all right, I'm fully engaged. I'm like into it, all over again. And clearly it's a main event stuff. That's what they excelled at this time. Was the main event stuff, and this
Moonsault
delivered.
was so good.
Ooh.
Kurt Angle, okay. Kurt Angle
it wasn't even the Perk Angle moonsault yet, too.
Yeah. Kurt Angle had one of the best moonsaults ever. Did he ever connect? I feel like he almost never successfully hit it.
I've seen him miss a bunch, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
But when he misses,
I remember seeing him miss it.
He misses hard.
He misses, man.
Yep. And it looks so pretty too, but yeah, you're right. He always just lands face first.
Yep.
And that's how we got Perk Angle.
Real quick though, I forgot to mention the promo video to this match was so fucking good.
Yeah,
like they don't make those promo videos like they do. Like they don't make them like that anymore.
No, well, like how many? Like we've talked about numerous times before. Like the what was it? WrestleMania 19, the My Way, and all the other stuff between. Like,
they gotta run that back for this year. FYI, by the way, they should run My Way back for
Cody Roman.
Yeah. Or even the tag match because The Rock's in it.
Yeah. But yeah, like those packages where they really kind of show you everything that's going on, while you got like an awesome song playing in the background, whatever. Like you're right, they don't. It doesn't come around as much.
I'd argue the most recent really good one was The Miz when he used "Hate Me Now." I'm assuming, well, him and I guess John Cena, since that's the only main event he's had. But beside the point. But yeah, no, the promo packages were always spot on. Considering the technology at the time, the editing that they did with what they had, it was always incredible too. Like now you can, I could sit down and learn like a program if I put my mind to it. But like back then, you needed all this shit just to edit. It's like the stuff they would pump out was incredible. And the match is good. What do you think of the format, by the way, of all the matches back to back versus maybe like you could have went like a WrestleMania 10 style where it's like, all right, we're gonna have a coin flip to see who gets the advantage of having their match like first or something.
I think that this worked simple. I think this would have only worked with Jericho winning.
That's fair.
So So like if it was anyone else, then yeah, they probably should have split it, like, had somebody open, had somebody go on in the
Right.
middle.
I feel like
But
that's how they would book it now. I feel like if they ever had this style again, they wouldn't book back to back to back like this
No,
again.
yeah, I
Right.
agree.
Well,
Yeah,
also,
The
no,
and
difference between this one, so they did this match and there was a break. And then when they started the Rock Jericho match, then as
that's
soon as that
true.
match was over, the next one
Yeah.
ran in.
Yeah, that's
So
true. Like
this one actually had, a
you had you right. You at
significant
least
break.
had your get everybody out of the ring, do the proper entrances for the Rock and Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Because it is the very next match. Like you're right. There wasn't even really a promo. So look, Austin wins. He runs to the back. He's waiting. He's the WWF champion. He's waiting for the winner. Next match we have The Rock versus Chris Jericho. This is the best match of the night
yes,
for sure.
Rock and Jericho just had great chemistry.
Yeah, yeah,
All their
and
matches were solid.
yeah, and like listen, and it even some of the false finishes, got me. But obviously I know who wins, but still.
Mhm.
And it was still weird to me hearing like the world champion because again I mentioned it before, I completely forgot that they just at this point were just phased the WCW just at this point completely out.
Mhm.
Yep.
It was weird
So
to me though that Jericho came out second. I was
that's
like,
true.
why did Rock come out first? He's the champ. Thought that was
Was
weird.
there did they have a set pattern with that at this point? Because I feel like a lot of times it
Yeah.
was like
Stone Cold came after Kurt.
oh, that's true. Yeah, I don't.
No.
That's a good. I didn't even
think
really notice.
The standard was that the champion comes out last.
No,
but
I know. I don't know. I guess they were fucking
it
around with
was
this one.
definitely, yeah. It wasn't like it definitely wasn't like 100% of the time kind of thing, but it was
True.
definitely the standard. So it was a little weird seeing Jericho come out after The Rock.
Yeah.
No, that's true. But no, man, like the back and forth, the stealing, everyone stealing finishers.
Yeah.
I was always a fan of that, especially with The Rock.
Yeah.
When someone else, it's just instant heat. Someone else trying to do the people's elbow. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no,
The
this
fact that
match,
the fact that he won with the stolen finisher,
right?
you don't really see that either.
No,
Yeah, you don't say that nowadays.
Yeah.
no. But yeah, so listen, so Jericho beats The Rock, which
With-
again, probably a shock to everybody at the time.
Pretty
Like,
clean too.
Yep.
more or
Yeah.
less. I
Yeah,
mean, I know I know
well,
you had like your ref bumps and this and that, and then obviously clearly, Vince McMahon is strongly involved in this because he's trying to get the heel, he's trying to get any heel over that he can to not have
Yeah.
Trying to get
Austin
that
or The
last
Rock.
laugh.
Exactly.
Because he who laughs last laughs
I
last.
say clean compared to the actual main event.
Fair
because
enough.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And I mean, I did. So yeah, I mean, it all blends together. So Jericho wins. Austin trots right out, and then your main
Immediately.
event starts. So now,
Like Jericho gets the pin and you just hear glass break. Like
right.
it's like
So like
almost
they
like
didn't.
instant.
I also like.
Jericho's facial reaction was
I was just. I was
pretty funny
just.
too.
I was
That's
just
what we
gonna
were
say,
talking about though, like how Triple H sold
Yeah.
the whole thing. Like that's what like
Yeah.
Jericho selling Austin coming out right away. Like that's a thing that like
Yeah. Now I know Jericho's a heel, which him being a heel plays into part that reaction. But also part of me is like, well, my guy, what did you expect? Like
Yeah.
you knew you're going through two matches. So like naturally, the guy who won the last match is gonna come down and try
Yeah.
to beat your ass now.
Yep.
So I don't know. And I liked the open where like they both just hit each other. They're both down for a sec as
well,
the match
Kurt
starts.
hit Stone Cold.
That
and
was
then
it.
The
Yeah,
Rock
you're right.
hit
With
And then Rock came in
where
Jericho.
they both where they both get hit and then they're down. So it's like, well, I guess all right, we're starting even. Okay.
Yeah.
But for for a match that's meant to be a struggle because you're trying to sell just two tired guys, giving it all they have for one last gasp for this undisputed title, they put together, they do put together a good match. Again, Rock Jericho was clear match of the night for me, but that's not what this main event is supposed to be.
Mhm.
Like it's clearly not. It's it's just two guys, like I said, giving it all they have to survive, basically. And with some shenanigans,
Lots of shenanigans.
Chris Jericho does in fact beat Stone Cold and The Rock in the same night to be the undisputed champion. Will we hear about this again in the future? I don't know. Maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho is right now at this very time that we're recording this telling somebody how he beat the Rock and Stone Cold on the same night.
Once upon a time. back
He's
in
at the
day.
grocery store telling the guy bagging his groceries about it. Right.
He's
It's
legit going to be like 80, being like, you remember when I like, okay, sir, sure,
Sure, Grandpa.
sure,
Sure.
Grandpa.
I
Okay,
gotta say though,
boomer.
between all three matches, there was a lot of low blows. I think I counted 5 between the
Ooh.
3 matches.
I got to go back and rewatch them
I
now so I
know.
can recount. I want to get a low blow count on this.
Because I was like, what the fuck? Why are
Every
there so
time
many
there's a
low
low
blows?
blow, take a shot.
Oh no,
God.
it's gonna be a long night. Don't do it now.
And then with Vince coming down, attacking, and then
Flair.
Flair,
Yeah.
and then another low blow. So I think what Jericho gave Steve Austin. No, yes, Jericho gave Steve Austin. Steve Austin gave Jericho. Vince gave Flair. So
Mhm.
that's 3 right there.
Yeah.
And I think The Rock got a low blow from Jericho. And I think
Phrasing.
Kurt low blowed Stone Cold. I think that's
A lot
5.
of-
I think it
lot
kind
of
of
That's a
Phrasing.
lot. Goddamn.
So much phrasing.
So
What am I?
it's 2001 was a volatile time for
was.
Dicks.
For-
It is,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And then
It's-
having Booker
yeah.
T like
It was a
interfere on
bad
top
time
of
to
all
be a
that
hot
shit.
dog in those days.
Oh, I will say
Everybody's hot dog.
the Booker T interference, which led to some of the best segments with him and Austin, whether it was
Yes.
the
Oh,
grocery
yes.
store or the bingo hall, which I can attest. I have played bingo at a casino. Those old ladies are ruthless.
Oh my
Yes,
God,
they
they're
are.
brutal. They're brutal. Have
They
you ever
don't.
seen? Have you seen the bingo punishment from Impractical Jokers? I mean,
That's
like
real. That's like
I
I've
gotta go
like
watch that.
if you've ever been to a bingo hall, which we did that like Foxwoods one night. I remember this now years ago. Oh, hey,
Yep.
this will be cheap. We can kill a couple hours and not blow all our money. And holy shit, someone yelled
We ended up
bingo.
being there for 4 hours.
Oh,
We ended up going through because that we were there for my 21st birthday. So obviously
Yep.
we were there drinking and everything else.
Yep.
And I remember like we started the day drinking and gambling at random tables. Then we decided to do this to try and save a little bit of money, not realizing it was 4 hours long. And by the
Yeah.
time of it, we had already gone past drunk and were like into our hangovers.
yes.
Oh, that's the
Yes.
worst.
Yeah,
Yes.
because
It
they
was one
didn't
of
serve
those.
alcohol in the bingo hall either. So we were sitting there like the whole time. It was like we can get booze anywhere else in the casino, but we went and sat 4 hours in the one place where we can't continue drinking.
Yeah.
So now we're just not drunk anymore. We're just hungover.
Yep. Yep.
Eesh.
Yeah,
Yep.
but no, the bingo hall people are ruthless, so it makes it funnier. Yeah, the Impractical Jokers is very funny because you can feel the tension because I'm like I've been watching these people get angry, but
Yep.
but yeah. So look, Chris Jericho is your undisputed champion, and we go on from there. We obviously know what would happen in the near future. Triple H wins the Royal Rumble. He beats Jericho at WrestleMania 18 to become the champion. And listen, Jericho's Jericho. We know what his career still is. He's still going on today. Regardless of how you feel about his AEW run, he's still around today. So the guy's got longevity. Is this if Chris Jericho doesn't become the first undisputed champion, if it's Austin or The Rock or really, I mean, even Kurt Angle, is this show as remembered like it is because of Chris Jericho reminding us of it for the last 20 plus years? So if it's someone else, do we remember this as, I won't say fondly, but I'll say as vividly as we do?
I
Nope.
feel like if it was
I don't
Kurt
think so.
Angle, he probably also would have spent the next 20 years telling everybody how he beat The Rock and Stone Cold.
Shit,
on the
you're
same
right.
night. But
All right. So
Um,
if it's Austin or The Rock that comes out on
No,
this, we
for
probably
sure.
just go, sure, that was a title run they had.
Yeah. I think
Yep.
Jericho
Yeah.
was such the underdog. I think that's why it's
Because this is
memorable.
his first world
Yeah.
title win, no?
Well,
Yes.
he won the WCW
WCW.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
obviously
earlier
while it
earlier
was-
in the year, and
Oh,
then The
fuck,
Rock
that's
took
right.
it from him.
But
That's
I
right.
do remember, like as Rob said earlier, I kind of felt that like going into this, out of these 4 men, for sure, I think Jericho was counted as the underdog. And I
Yeah.
remember feeling, even at the time, watching it in 2001 when Jericho won, I was like, really?
Right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
right.
happy.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
And the
Like,
fact that
that's-
like he was the heel and it's not like he got the crowd behind him at any point. And then the pay-per-view just ends.
Yeah.
Right.
Like there
Yep.
was nothing to it. It wasn't like a good, like,
Yeah.
the fans went home happy. It was like, what the fuck? Okay,
No.
pay-per-view over.
There was
And
no bull.
he
There
didn't.
was
e-
there was
He
no
didn't even
extra
stay in the.
bullshit. There's
He didn't stay in the ring for the celebration and all the
yeah,
flyers. and shit
I thought
flying
that
out
was
from
weird. All the
ceiling.
confetti and stuff was going off in the
Yeah.
ring, and he's
Yeah.
just up the ramp.
Yeah.
I did
And
think
then
that was
Vince
weird.
raises his hand, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then they're off the air. But listen, a bad pay-per-view saved by the main event stuff. So
Yeah, for
you
sure.
got a good maybe 40-ish minutes of quality stuff, couple bits sprinkled in beside that, but
I think the pay-per-view
after
was 2 hours and 38 minutes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And those three matches were the last 38 minutes.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
then I guess we'll go around and say, I guess if you have to go thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle, after rewatching this, how would you rate this show just based on those three options that I gave you?
I would definitely say, for the most part, a show's kind of a thumbs down. But I think that those last three matches really did kind of, as you said, they kind of saved it in a way. So, and because of the memorable moment that we got from Jericho winning, and how much that gave to not only his character but to WWE in the future, I'm
Yep.
gonna have to just say, just on based on that, I got to give it a thumbs up.
Yep.
Just because,
Yeah.
because of the what you call it, the kind of, what's the word I'm looking for now? Just the impact that it had, I feel like meant more than
Right.
the actual card itself.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say thumbs in the middle. I mean, again, for the same reasons you said, but again, the main event stuff at least saving it. But thumbs in the middle, and it's close to thumbs down, but I can't give it a thumbs down just again because of what we said. But if you just looked at the match card and said, all right, you're gonna watch this show, you'd probably be pumped. And then all that stuff leading into the main three matches, you go, oh, that really was not good, and it should have been.
It was very meh.
Right. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, again, the main event stuff saves it from a thumbs down. So, got to go in the middle for law of averages.
I personally wish I had two more hands so I could give these titties 4 thumbs down. No, but in all seriousness, because of the significant historical significance, the surprise results, and the fact that I think I enjoyed Undertaker and RVD more than the rest of the room here, saw straight in the middle.
All right.
It basically it's saved from going down because of the main event stuff. And again, I personally enjoy Taker and RVD.
All right. And Rob, the show you picked to come on the pod for, how you feeling after rewatching it?
I'm gonna say thumbs down. Similar to what you said, like looking at the card on paper, you could be like, okay, this could be pretty good.
Yeah.
And even just, Edge and Regal, kind of a letdown. RVD and Taker, I thought could have been more extreme for both those guys. And even the main event, the main event was so gimmicked up. And I'm like, okay. And again, when I was more worried about the low blow count, shows how interested I was in the match. So yeah, I think again, it's the historical win and shock is what made me remember this pay-per-view fondly, and that's why I chose it. And okay, I think I know why I haven't watched it since.
Yeah,
Understandable. Yeah, go figure, man. Jericho somebody reminding you of something for 20 years is why you remember it. Shocker.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, I feel like, it seems like we all have the same opinion of, oh, this should be a good show. Shit. It kind of wasn't fine. But listen, that'll happen with these shows. But hey, this is why we do this on this podcast. This is why we go back and watch this old shit, because it brings up conversations like this of maybe this wasn't as good. Maybe shit was better than we remember, which I'm sure we'll have that coming on. But this is a good one
eventually.
Yeah, of course. This is a good episode, though. I'm happy with it. This is a nice, I hope we informed you. I hope it makes you want to. Maybe we didn't convince you to go back and watch this whole pay-per-view, but do it, because if you got 2 hours to kill, go for it. I don't know.
At least go watch the last half of it.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, and if Peacock could get on that whole getting the features that WWE Network had to make the
Oh my
search
God,
easier
yeah.
and the match markers and stuff like that, because
Yep.
I know I'm sure it's I don't know how hard it can be to just import all that shit, but I don't know, figure it out. You've had the library for a couple of years now,
I couldn't find it at first. I texted
bro.
Mike and I was like, did you find it? I
I
couldn't
told you
find
I had to search Vengeance,
It
and
took a
finally it
minute.
popped
Yeah.
up.
It took a minute.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's what I did
improved.
too. I just searched Vengeance
Yeah,
because
'cause
if
it
you
wasn't
try to
on
look it
the-
up through the WWE stuff, you're just never gonna find it.
Couldn't
Yeah.
find it. Yeah, I had to search. At least it's on there though, but
Yeah.
still, yeah, very funny with that. Just do they not want us to watch this show? Like, it should have been a sign. The show's not good. It's not,
Yeah.
it's not like out in the open for you to find.
It is cool
You
though
sure
that they
about
put it
that?
like episodic.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
as soon as it was over, it played 2002, and I'm sure like
Yeah,
they
right. I
keep
did
going.
see
So
that.
that kind of is cool, but
Yeah. Well, listen, Rob, thanks for doing this because
Thanks for having me,
you were
guys.
awesome. You'll be we'll have you back because
Yeah.
you were very good, flowed naturally.
there you go.
Not to give a fucking review of a person talking like an asshole, but I just did it. But
Thanks, man.
no, this was fun, man. And again, when we'll have you back at some point in the near future, you can pick something
Oh, yeah.
else. We'll watch it and we'll do this damn thing again.
Sweet.
I guess yeah, let's get we're creeping out on time here. I know we're almost hitting 11 p.m. on a Thursday night. What's happening?
Oh
Come on,
my
we're dads
God.
here. We're dads
Yeah, I
here.
know.
Yeah.
Tell me
Not me.
about it.
CJ, you're probably a dad. You're just not aware of it, man.
Also,
That's why I
CJ
moved across the country.
Also, CJ, it's only 8 p.m. for you, you
Yeah.
bastard.
Yeah, I'm also going to work in an hour. So
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
Let me get our plugs out of the way. And again, one more time, I'll plug it one more time. Coliseum Pro Wrestling, Friday, April 26th. Opportunity for Success 3. Big show out there. The Elks Lodge, West Haven, Connecticut. Tickets are only $20. And if you're a member of the Elks Lodge, kid under, I believe it's 12, then tickets are only $10, $12, something like that. I should have this info, but I'm not because I'm terrible at plugging. So sorry guys that you'd think I'd have it together more. Kids under 12 and Elks members, $10. I had it right. See?
Yep.
But yeah, you can, for all the announcements leading up to that show, you can follow them on Instagram at Coliseum Pro Wrestling. I believe they're on Facebook as well. Coliseum Pro Wrestling on Facebook, YouTube as well for them too. You can go watch some of the shows that they have posted up there. Get yourself familiar with it for the big show next month. And again, we're sponsoring that show, so very excited. We'll at least I know I'll be there. I don't know if Skylar can go.
I will make the effort. Yes.
Yeah, like I said, I know I'll be there. Like I said, your boy might have.
I'll start driving now. So that.
All right, so sick.
Nice.
Listen, I don't know, what I'm going to be doing or how involved I will be. Anything that those guys are willing to let me do, I am going to be thrilled at.
I hope you just take a fucking 3D through a table or something. By the way,
how big would the pop be if I just no explanation just sent a video of, hey bro,
I'd pop. I'd fucking pop huge for it.
Especially if the table didn't break, I'd be recording
no.
it and put I am the table.
I was like, if that happens, you better fucking yell that.
I'm gonna send that shit to Matthew and get that on Macho Baby.
Yeah.
If they gracefully allow me to attempt commentary, and that does happen, I will say it. I will say it, so it's on there, bro. Although Excalibur does it for AEW, so it's not uncommon at this point.
Yeah.
But anyway, so follow those guys. Keep up. They're announcing like new wrestlers, and I'm sure they'll announce more matches and stuff as the show gets closer. As for us, you can follow us on Instagram at 6Man Tag Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at 6Man Tag. Follow us on Facebook if you still use that. 6Man Tag Podcast on Facebook. Again, and the usuals. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, you got to subscribe. 6Man Tag Podcast on YouTube, and of course the audio versions on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You guessed it; those are also 6Man Tag Podcast there. So follow us on any and all platforms. All the links are either in your little podcast description or below in the YouTube description. So,
and how do you search it up?
What's that? What's that? You asked?
How do you search that up?
So you type SIX or
if you You're saying you might type the word 6?
I mean, some people
Tell
might.
me,
I don't
tell me he didn't just say that. Look, man, if you type the word 6, it's not.
Come
It's the
on.
fucking number 6, and that's final. You
That's
bitch.
final. You bitch. So
Um,
aggressive.
yeah, always gotta
I love it.
keep the bit going. That's what we do here. To CJ, I know you got plugs, so
I do actually. I got some new stuff
Go
for you guys. All right. So big announcement.
Let's
But
go.
before we get to that, please follow me on SoundCloud and YouTube at the Paperweight Project. You can go listen to my songs on SoundCloud. We got 4 up there right now, including our new cover, just released, but done by myself and my good friend John Hooten of Jimmy World's song "A Praise Chorus." That is up on the SoundCloud right now. Also on there, our cover of Kingdom that we did with Skylar in collaboration with this very project here. So, Kingdom, the Cody Rhodes theme song, that is also on the SoundCloud. So go follow me at soundcloud.com/the Paperweight Project. But new announcement. For any of you DGens out there, for any of you guys that
That's me.
love DGenning it up,
That's me.
and I know Mike's one of them. Big announcement. As most of you know, if you listen to the show or watch the show or whatever, I am a big DGen myself. I enjoy playing the poker, right? I will be now starting a new online poker stream where I will be broadcasting my actual poker sessions going on online, playing on stream. That's going to be done at kick.com. So please go to kick.com, check out Paperweight. And this time it's spelled a little differently. It's paper W8, Paperweight, right? You just look up kick.com, Paperweight, Paper W8, and you'll find my page. I have not put anything on there yet. The announcement is that I will begin my streaming this upcoming weekend. So, well, when I say weekend, I mean my weekend. So it's probably going to be Monday or Tuesday or both, but I will be getting some poker sessions in online, broadcast live. So if you guys want to see me degen it up, you guys want to see me tilt at all the micro stake bullshit that happens when you play micro stake poker online, you can come see it at kick.com/paperweight. Well, actually, I don't know if that's the URL or not. I should check that out. But if you go to kick.com and just look up Paperweight, Paper W8, you will find me. Beyond that, something else that I have not plugged yet before, I am actually going to plug my X account, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, x.com. I have a profile where I will also be kind of documenting my a lot more of my poker stuff. I'm going to be probably throwing clips on there. So if you're not following me on Kick, follow me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. That's at Paperweight Poker, spelled the same way, Paper W8 Poker on x.com. You can find me there, and that way, if you can't make the live feeds, you can't make the streams, go check out the old Twitter account, and I'm sure I'll post up some clips of some of my bad beats and best hands, worst hands kind of thing. So that's going to be somewhere else where I document some stuff. So please come follow me. Subscribe on Kick, follow me on Twitter, and be up to date on all my DGen glory. Or sadness.
Well, listen, the people will appreciate both. That's for sure.
That's true.
Lastly, for us, we have stickers. So if you want
send me
one,
send me a few. Actually,
I got to get on that. And so
if you throw one on the guitar,
if you want one, just literally message us, show that you're following, and I'll literally mail you one. I don't care. We're not asking for much.
Do I have to send you a message? Like, what do I got to do here?
I'm just, I don't know.
All right. Skylar, how about you? What are you up to?
Twitch at Strange AFC, trying to finish Persona 3 Reload. I've been playing Balatro, which is a run-based poker game.
I gotta check that out. You sent that to me.
Kind of addicting, not gonna lie. And other than that, a good amount of Helldivers 2, because hell yeah, democracy, brother.
Yep. For the democracy.
Have a nice cup of liberty.
I like it.
That is an actual thing that is said constantly in the game.
That's very
not surprising.
Yes.
And to wrap it all up, our guest Rob, if you want the people to find you, follow you, where can they find you if you have any plugs for us?
No plugs, but if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's just at Rob Cedeno, more family stuff.
Hmm.
And if you want to follow my DJ and shit, follow me on Twitter at Mr. Hollywood. I'll show you some crypto DJ and shit.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
I've got a very little amount of Bitcoin, so I'm hoping that it goes crazy because I'm just
300,000, baby.
I literally have like, I don't know. I think I started with like $10 in Dogecoin way back when,
Nice.
and then I made like $400 on that. So then I just threw that at Bitcoin when it was like 44,000.
Yeah.
So
Nice,
that's what
nice.
I'm
So you're
sitting
up.
on. So now
Seriously.
so my Robinhood account says 575, about 580. So sure,
Nice.
There
I'll
you
take
go.
it. It's not
It's a
gonna.
profit.
Yeah, I'll take
It
it.
is a profit. A 10
It is
to
a
a
profit.
580. Can't complain about that.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Or you can play the slots. Or you can just take all that money and buy scratch offs and be a real asshole.
Yep.
The scratch off might pay you $1 million. I'm just saying. I don't know what
You
to
can
tell
go buy
you.
Pepe or
Why not
a
me?
dog coin. You can make some good money.
There you go.
Dog with
Oh,
hat. There's a coin called dog with hat.
Bro, there's like
Points for everything.
there was a crypto called like Cum Rocket, like that I
Oh,
heard
yeah.
of a couple
Yup.
years. So like they're just fucking with people with some of these, I think.
That's why it's all it's like crypto is like
Yeah.
is like Vegas, but for
Right. Oh, like I can't believe this was a pump and dump. You can't?
yeah. Oh my God, really? You thought you made $1
Something
million in 2 seconds?
something called Cum Rocket wasn't sustainable. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Wild.
this was a fun episode, and Rob will definitely be having you back soon
Oh,
for
yeah.
another one of these in a few weeks. Don't forget, coming up in a few weeks, again, I don't know what our next episode topic is going to be. We'll figure it out this week, but in the coming weeks, I know in the near future, we have the House of Payne coming back, and we'll discuss Starrcade 1990 with them. That's probably going to be in about a month just to lead up to the Coliseum Pro Wrestling show. It'll be a good time to have those guys back on and talk about that and talk
Sure.
some Starrcade 1990. So as far as future episodes, that's kind of all I got to plug for that. So be on the
Got
lookout in a
Heatwave with
few
Chris
weeks.
D as well.
We do.
Yeah, I
We've been
was
trying.
gonna say.
Yeah, I know. We've been trying to do that for a while. Maybe we'll try and get that up for next week, but no promises. But
Yeah.
hey, we promised you Vengeance 2001 and we delivered on it. So,
That's right. We got there.
be happy with that.
For better or worse.
Man. But anyway, this is a good episode. This is a good episode. So again, Rob, thank you for taking the time to do this. We really
Yes,
appreciate
thank
it.
you, Rob.
No worries.
And,
Apologize. I was sick.
Listen, bro.
Listen,
Yeah, no worries,
listen. Just
brother.
don't let it happen again. I don't know.
That wasn't a
Okay,
good.
all right. All right, Captain.
Oh man. All
Yeah.
right.
Bye.
For Rob, for Skylar, for CJ, I'm Mike. This has been episode 70 of the Six Man Tag Podcast. Until next time, peace, everybody.